Hello from the BBC in London. I'm Rich Preston with Global View. This week, a look at how the war in Ukraine and America's response to it is being reported in the world's two largest countries. Later, we'll hear from Delhi about Indian media and the war. But first, China and how 1.5 billion people there are hearing about the conflict. Kerry Allen follows the country for BBC Monitoring, which scans the media and social media around the world.
People in China aren't seeing the scale of devastation in Ukraine. For a lot of people, they simply don't know what is going on. There's very limited TV coverage. If there's anything whatsoever, it's just behind closed doors meetings. So what people are getting instead is you've got newspapers like the Global Times, which are known for being very anti-US, and they're painting a very strong narrative that this is all down to America. I mean, they've literally got images on their website that show Biden facing Putin as if this is what the Ukraine crisis is all about. And lots of coverage that very much suggests that both the US and NATO have their own means behind trying to stir things up in Ukraine. And this is all to do with suppressing Russia and Russian development.
Is there a sense in Chinese media that America wants a war?
Absolutely, yes. This is a message that comes through every day. There's often a lot of media emphasis on the role of Biden's administration to provide funding for artillery to Ukraine. So this is a message that constantly comes up. And again, this kind of plays into a long-term message that China has been putting out, that the US is an antagonizer and an imperialist. So you do get messages a lot in China's media about gun crime in the US. And this is something that, you know, a lot of Chinese people, it makes them feel quite scared that you've got things like this that are so rife in the US. So for a lot of people in China, there's this image of the US wanting military action and wanting to stir things up in the rest of the world.
Kerry Allen. And from the world's largest country to the world's largest democracy, and how 1.4 billion people in India are hearing about the war in Ukraine. Sachin Gogoi is based in Delhi for BBC Monitoring.
Media in India, they are somewhere in the middle, not really criticizing Russia or Putin for the invasion, but they have been critical of the alleged war crimes by Russia. Several Indian satellite news channels have actually sent their reporters to cover the ground situation in Ukraine. And these journalists have been regularly bringing out news about the sufferings of the ordinary Ukrainians because of the Russian invasion.
What has Indian media said about America's involvement in the conflict?
Well, again, unlike the Chinese media, Indian media have not really said that the US is responsible for this. But when it comes to India's ties with the US, it's not really a zero-sum game if you look at the media coverage. The government and the country's media are supportive of strong ties with the US. However, there is no urge for stronger ties with the US at the expense of Russia. New Delhi has also clarified on multiple occasions that its relationship with Russia will stand on its own. What provides a leverage to India here is the China angle. The US and its allies need India in Asia Pacific, where China's assertiveness has caused anxieties to other powers. Therefore, Indian media and experts largely favor continuing strong ties with both the US and Russia at the same time.
Sachin Gogoi from BBC Monitoring with how the war in Ukraine is being reported in India. I'm Rich Preston at the BBC.